Hello, everybody, and welcome to Durbania Live. This is a live Q&A to say thank you because I got over 7,000 subscribers, and every single one of you are awesome, and I want to say thank you to all of you newcomers to Durbania. I hope you enjoy this live Q&A. I hope you participate as the newbies. I want to hear your thoughts, so definitely join this right now. Thank you all so very much.
Look, I want to say, I know you know a lot of super people, so thanks for thanking of me.
Well, like I said, welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is Durbania Live as we jump into a huge, awesome thank you Q&A to thank every single one of you who have subscribed to my channel. 7,000 subscribers. Actually, it's over that now. So thank you all so much for not only getting me to 7,000, but jumping far above. It's just cool that 7,000 and some odd number of you have enjoyed this content enough to hit that subscribe button. So I just want to say thank you for subscribing, and thank you to all of you fellow YouTubers, both new friends and old friends that have been with me from the beginning, and you know who you are. Because if I go through the list of names, even if I wrote it all down and memorized the list of names, I'm going to leave somebody out and I'm going to feel guilty. Maybe you'd be fine, but I would feel horribly guilty. But every single one of you YouTubers have been with me from the beginning and how we've worked and collabed together. I want to say a huge thank you. Thank you again to all of you who subscribe to this channel, who watch the videos, who comment on the videos, who hit that like button, or even hit that dislike button. Believe it or not, hitting that dislike button, but also maybe leaving a nice comment. It helps me grow. It helps me, understand what you're looking for and what you want, because I mean, isn't that what I'm here to do? So thank you all so much for that. And I just want to say thank you for participating in every way. I also want to say a huge thank you here to all of my patrons. Oh, that little thing is in the way, isn't it? Boom, not no more. Oh, wasn't that much in the way. Anyway, thank you so much to every single one of you patrons who subscribe to this channel, but also have taken that extra step to become a patron of this channel, giving money to what I do to support what I do. I mean, honestly, I don't know how I could do this without you guys supporting. I just thank you so much for your support. It means so much to me. So thank you so much to everybody. Now, before I got live on this thing, I put something up, what was it, like around lunchtime, California time, but like 5 hours ago, I posted I was going to go live. And I said, hey, if you have any questions you want to throw out there right now so we can jump start the live Q&A, please do so. Well, Aaron White didn't just post one question, he posted 12. And because he's a patron, I'm going to go through his 12 questions. Then we're going to jump into the comments and take your questions for this Q&A. So first, Aaron White, let's do this. We're diving into your questions. He left these on Facebook, by the way, so that's another place that you can follow me. Question number one, if you had a theme song, what song would you choose? That's hard. I'm torn between two. There's an artist, his name is Carman. If you look him up, Carman, he was one of my favorites growing up. He has the song on his album called Addicted to Jesus called Satan Bite the Dust. It's hysterical. It's cheesy, but that'd be one theme song. Another one, DC Talks Jesus Freak from back in the day. Let's see. Number two, which would you choose to be the witness for, the birth or the resurrection? I would definitely choose the resurrection. That just would be the miracle of miracles that I definitely would want to stand there and see and witness. What are some of your favorite movie quotes of all time? Well, I think I do love every single time in Star Wars. I've got a bad feeling about this. I definitely love The Lost World, Jurassic Park, when Ian Malcolm is saying, ooh, yeah, that's how it all starts. But later there's running and screaming. And probably one of my other favorite, more obscure movie quotes would be, Taters! What's taters, precious? What's taters? Yes, I do like that one. What are some of your favorite childhood memories? It's funny because I was trying to like go, when you get on the, somebody pressures you with a question like that, it's like, crap, I can't remember my childhood all of a sudden. But seriously, the one that surfaced to my mind as soon as you said it is one time my dad surprised my sister and myself when we were kids. with tickets to go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live out of their shell, where they're trying to do that rock concert and be very, very cool. And you know what? It was awesome, except I was bored 3 songs in and I made us leave. I actually feel kind of guilty for that because my sister was into it and I was done after 3 songs. And then you're a kid. You don't think about what did my dad do to get a hold of those tickets, keeping it a surprise. And so, Dad, if you happen to be watching, sorry I made us go home 3 songs in. Thank you for those tickets. What would you do with $1 million? Wow, that is a good question. I mean, I would definitely help take care of family that needs it. I would buy my wife the house of her dreams. No, wait, I live in California. If we bought the house of our dreams, we would have zero money left altogether. I would buy my wife several levels down from her dreams, but a nice house. And yeah, I'd probably do some cool things around here to, have Durbania do some pretty cool stuff. I'd give, like there's a show, The Chosen. Man, I want to see them reach all full of their 7 seasons. That show is terrific. If you don't know what I'm talking about with The Chosen, there's an app. Go into your app store, type in The Chosen. You'll see what I'm talking about. I would definitely love to help them out for sure. Let's see, number 6. If you had the chance to make a movie or TV show, what would you want it to be about? Also, would it be a comedy, action, horror, drama, or a mix? It would be a mix because I do know exactly what I'd make if I can make it. There's 2, actually. The first, there's this author, his name is Ted Decker, and he wrote this whole crazy series of books. The first set of these crazy series is called the Circle Trilogy. It's black, red, and white. And it's all about this guy, Thomas Hunter. And he gets hit in the head. And when he falls asleep in our world, he wakes up in a paradise world. When he falls asleep there, he wakes up here. Now he can't tell which is the reality and which is the dream, except the key to saving both worlds is in the other. So to save each world, he needs to keep falling asleep and coming into each world. So it's actually a really fascinating read. I mean, in the book Black, Paradise Falls, the book Red, Will There Be Redemption, the book White, so many interesting things that I don't want to dive into without too many spoilers, but it is fascinating. And I think a high budget TV series would do a great job telling the story. That trilogy breaks into another trilogy, how the power of that world affects our world. And then that trilogy breaks into one final book. And I would love to take all of those things and turn them into an excellent TV series. Another one that I would do is called The Chronicles of Brothers. And there's like 5 out of the 7 books out right now. And I think they're very interesting. And what they're about from the very beginning of time, the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus through the end times, through the perspective of Michael, Gabriel, and Lucifer. They are a very fascinating read. I'm really enjoying those. And that's something that I would love to see into a TV show. That would be a great mixture of horror and action and comedy. Let's see. I did that one. Okay. Moving over to this one. Who would win on Jeopardy, Bruce Wayne or Tony Stark? Without hesitation, Bruce Wayne. Because even if Tony Stark won, Bruce Wayne has a contingency plan for that. If you were a writer on Smallville, how would you make Lana more likable? First off, I'd get rid of that stupid entitlement mentality she has. Yes, Clark Kent saved her in season 2, and it was season 1, and it was fantastic. Like he came into the tornado and he was inside the truck and he covered her like a shield, but that didn't give her the right to know his secret. That right there shows she has that entitlement mentality. She's incredibly selfish. She's over dramatic. She's melodramatic. She's incredibly annoying from that point forward. So what I would do is change that. She should be grateful to Clark saving her life. And I don't mind her being curious. What I do mind is her thinking she's entitled to his secret and entitled to his private life. Maybe at the end of season 2, when they're actually dating, she might be a little bit more entitled because they're sort of committing their lives to each other. It makes a little more sense. But no, not even before then and not even after then because he ends up dumping her. The point is, yeah, I would change her entitlement mentality. She would not have it. I would write her so that she is a grateful personality, grateful to Clark, and grateful for his friendship, curious, but not demanding that she has to know his secret. The other thing that I would change is she would be gone after season 3 because I loved meeting Lois in season 4. And there's no more point for Lana after that because the stupid witch plot line in season 4 was just that. It was stupid. They tried to find stuff for her to do in season 5 and it was stupid. They tried to find stuff for her to do in season 6 and it was even worse than stupid. So what you got to do is write her off right then and there. It was the perfect exit for her to go to Paris, but never come back. So just never have her come back. Pete left then, and maybe let her come back and guest star like Pete came back and did one guest star later. But that's about it. You don't need to put any more drama or anything. That is exactly how I would change the writing of Lana Lang. I would make her more grateful, maybe curious, but not all, I'm entitled to the whole wide world. And I wouldn't, I wouldn't have her anywhere in Smallville past season 3. It would just be over. Okay. Woo! If it were possible, would you live on the moon or Mars? I would live on Mars. What are your future plans for your channel? That is a very, very good question. So the reason I started this channel is because I wanted to let people know Jesus loves you. And I love talking about movies. And this was a great opportunity to talk about both, because something my brother-in-laws and I used to do, like we would go see movies all the time, and as we drive home, we find all of these like theological parallels in the movies and just have a blast talking about it. And I just decided that's what I wanted to do here. So the future plans for my channel are to continue following that core. And the future plans are, what creative ways can I continue to do that to keep things relevant without it sounding too unbelievably preachy? But I do love to tell the truth. I do love to tell how Jesus loves you. I do love finding theological parallels in movies. And so I'm going to continue to do that. That is my future plans for this channel. And my future plans are to continue to find fun and creative ways to do that. And as soon as movies start, playing on the big screen one day again before the end of time, I would love to, review them as they come out on the big screen and all that fun stuff. I miss that. So yeah, I definitely am going to do more reviews, find more things to rank. I'm going to be definitely going to, hold on. Sorry, I got tongue tied. I will be ranking all 10 seasons of Smallville after I review all 10 seasons of Smallville, and that's going to be a blast. Can't wait to do a full season 1 or season 2 review of The Mandalorian. So there's a lot of future things that I am very much so looking forward to, while staying close to that core of why I started this channel. Today is the 30th anniversary of Home Alone. Your thoughts on the movie, favorite Christmas movies? For favorite Christmas movies, almost anything around A Christmas Carol. I love that story. It's a fantastic story. Scrooged is one of my favorite renditions. I do like the Jim Carrey version of A Christmas Carol. I like so many versions of A Christmas Carol. Maybe A Muppet Christmas Carol is up there high on the list. It's just a lot of fun. I love that. In terms of Home Alone, I love Home Alone. And in fact, I went to Colorado about a week ago, and we all watched Home Alone with my nephews and my niece and my brother and sister-in-law and my wife. We all just had a blast. Well, my wife fell asleep, but we had a blast watching Home Alone. And I am just cracking up every time we get to the traps at the end of the movie. Even though now I'm watching it as an adult and I'm thinking, ooh, coma, that's broken. You're dead, coma, dead, brain dead, coma, dead. But it's still a blast. So I love Home Alone. 30 years later, it's still one of my favorites. I also love Lost in New York. I think that was a good sequel. Have not seen Home Alone 3, 4, or anything that came after 2. So don't have a strong desire there either. Today, I already read that. Do you have any hidden talents? This is the final question. Are you ready for me to display a hidden talent, Aaron White, and everybody watching? Here is my hidden talent. Yeah, that's the sound of one hand clapping. I can clap with one hand. That is my hidden talent. So thank you so much, Aaron White, for posting all 12 of those questions. Thank you for being a patron of Durbania. It was a blast to go through and answer all those for you. I really do hope that I hope you enjoyed that. So let's go through here now. Open up to you in the comments. What are your questions? What are things that maybe you have been burning to ask me? And Aaron says, high five. High five, Aaron. Thank you so much for asking all those questions that you asked. I really, really do appreciate it. I'm just kind of scrolling back up. Oh, the Lawn Gnome. Durbin, our collab from yesterday, is rendering as we speak. I did an excellent collab with the Lawn Gnome. We recorded that yesterday. He says it should be up tomorrow. I'm so excited. He and I are going to talk about James Bond. So the Lawn Gnome is a YouTuber that I've known for quite some time, followed for quite some time. He's followed me, but finally it worked out and we collabed together. So on his channel, I believe tomorrow, correct me if I'm wrong, he's going to have our collab talking about James Bond, which should have been out now, but who knows? Oh my gosh, my wife is home. I didn't hear her walk in the door. You ever do that? You think you're home alone and then you see movement out your eye and you know you don't believe in ghosts, but something's moving. Okay, we're fine now. I'm sweating. Woo! Okay, anyway, so thank you, the Lawn Gnome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad that you can make it. Hello, I'm a new subscriber. Thank you. I'm trying to see how I can pronounce your name. I apologize. A voice. I'm so bad at this. You were on the thing, that awesome thing with me yesterday too, weren't you? I apologize, man. You might want to phonetically spell that, but thank you. Look, I'm so glad that you're here. I appreciate you so much joining the brightest night. Congratulations. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. So glad that you're able to join me for this. Gabriel, hey, Durbin, I'm reading the Lord of the Rings books. I'm finishing the Fellowship of the Ring, and man, amazing. Do you ever read the books? Would be nice to make some videos about it. You know what? That's a good idea. I have read the books. The Hobbit is probably my favorite because it's the easiest to read. Lord of the Rings, I had a fascinating journey through that whole trilogy of books. I'm telling you, it was I they're like it's hard to. Fellowship was great. A little boring, but great. Lord of the Rings, the first half was great, but they divided up different than the movie. So everything with Merry, Pippin, and Aragorn, and everything they were going through, I was on the edge of my seat. Then the whole second half of the book was Frodo and Sam, and I'm telling you, I knew it was important, so I pressed through. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Took me 1 year, I kid you not, just trying to find the motivation to keep reading through that. And then Return of the King like redeemed it all for me. And I'm not saying it's written badly. It is written very, very well. It's the pacing was kind of odd. And as a high schooler, it was harder for me. And I bet you now in my 30s, it's going to be a lot easier for me. So that's a good idea. And now that I have a Kindle and I think the books are on Prime, I'm definitely going to go check those out again. My favorite read, though, was The Silmarillion. And even though that one, and I read that when I was older, which is why I know I would be different with the Lord of the Rings book trilogy now, because The Silmarillion was boring in so many places and slow. But I made it through and enjoyed every bit of how it was written and how Tolkien used language. But all the stories that are in the Silmarillion are incredibly fantastic. They're utterly fascinating. And any questions that you might have about Middle Earth, why people made certain decisions that they made in Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, Peter Jackson did such a great time with that original trilogy adaptation that if you read the Silmarillion, you know what that's going to do for you? It's going to answer so many of your questions because it answered so many of mine. So I've been meaning to go back over the Lord of the Rings trilogy because the Silmarillion was a difficult read, but I loved every second of that read. So I know now in my 30s, I would do better than the high schooler I was reading the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The Law Gnome, you are correct. Tomorrow, 7 Eastern Standard Time. So look for that on his channel, our collab on James Bond. Here is my question. What are you looking forward to the most in the Justice League Snyder Cut? Okay, so Superman is my favorite superhero. So what I'm looking forward to the most is the black suit for sure. And I love seeing that in his new trailer. Um, and really, I'm just looking forward to seeing that original vision. More than anything, it's just the original vision. I want to know where it was going because even before we had all the Justice League mess, before Justice League was on the big screen, I like BVS. My biggest complaint is it felt rushed. So I would have been curious to see how Justice League would have impacted that for better or worse. So I'm looking forward to the Nightmare Vision and what role is that all going to play and all of that stuff and how was Batman receiving that vision? Like things like that I'm excited to see. I'm excited to understand and I'm excited to see how seeing that is going to work backwards and impact my viewing of things like Batman versus Superman. But I am very much so looking forward to the Snyder Cut, whether that is going to be good or bad. I just absolutely cannot wait. Durbin, my brother, praise God for what you do. What movie or franchise would you say has the most gospel themes you have drawn out? What movie or franchise? I would say one of the movies that I was surprised by how much I was able to draw out. And to this day, it's probably one of my favorite theological analyses. Stephen King's The Mist. That movie was fascinating. And it's interesting because everybody gets shoved into a grocery store while this mist comes down. So really the mist is like the pressure cooker. And here they are stuck in this store and the pressure is on. And it's incredibly, incredibly intense. And it's very cool to see how different people reacted to what was going on. And so I really liked that. And I was able to draw a really good analysis out of that. It was incredibly interesting to me. And it's funny because I feel like the horror genre just has a lot of good stuff for me to grab, a lot of good stuff to hold on to and to bring out of it. So it's very interesting because, if you'd asked me in high school or college would I ever watch a horror movie, I was just a prim and proper Christian. No, Christians don't watch that. And now all of a sudden here I'm going, oh my gosh, there is some good stuff in there to draw out. So yeah, it's very interesting. Star Wars is another one. Like, I mean, obviously it's right there on the surface, the battles between good and evil and dark and light. Superman's another one. He's just a very obvious messianic picture, but there's a lot of good messages in those type of things. And I just have an absolute blast. Thoughts on the Scream movie? Please don't spoil them. I haven't seen any of the Scream movies but the first one. So my thoughts on the new one are just kind of meh. I mean, honestly, like I just said about horror movies, it will be fun to go through it, find whatever theological message I can find out of it. And I watched the first one not too long ago, so I will go back and probably watch all of them to build up to this new one. So it's one of those things that is exciting. And yeah, Gabriel's Bobby. Oh, he's replying to Gabriel. Bobby says hello, relatively new subscriber. Thank you, Bobby. So glad to have you, and I like your videos. Thank you so much. If you could recast any of the Lord of the Rings characters, would you with any contemporary actors? Of course, all the performances were great. No, I would not replace anybody. I cannot see anybody doing anything any better than what the cast did that we got. That cast was amazing. That is a very, very good question. So thank you so much for asking that. But I just can't see anybody else in those roles. Once you see Batman v Superman, the R-rated Ultimate Cut with the 30 minutes of cut footage back in the movie is so much better. Yes. Yes. Once you see BVS with the 30 minutes cut back in, it is way better. It still, for me, doesn't fix some of my core issues with the movie, but it definitely fills things out and things make so much more sense. And so, yes, if you're going to watch BVS, I'm just telling you now, the theatrical cut was somebody spilling a cup of coffee on their keyboard and it accidentally rendered the wrong version. And that's what came out on the big screen. I'm sure they're fired now because they carelessly just spilled their coffee and then let it happen. So the real version is, the ultimate cut. So be sure to make sure you watch that one. What made you a Superman fan? For me, it was Man of Steel because it made Superman relatable. Well, that's awesome. For me, it was Christopher Reeve. It was Superman 1. And as a kid, I just liked it because it was awesome. As I got older, watching Clark Kent was interesting to me because he's such a bumbling nerd. And that's what I felt like in high school. I'm not trying to say that to disparage myself or anything, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I saw myself more as that skinny, bumbling nerd, and I was pretty darn clumsy. I mean, one time I was in high school and I fell upstairs. I was going to class and I fell up a set of stairs. Most people can fall down a set of stairs. I had the talent to fall up the stairs. Point is that was relatable to me because as a Christian, knowing greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world, it made me think of that with Superman because Clark on the outside was a mild-mannered reporter. Now, granted, it was an act, okay? He's throwing everybody off, but nonetheless, it was something that I was able to relate to and it spoke to me because yes, on the outside, there was that bumbling, mild-mannered reporter, but inside was Superman. And that's just how God spoke to me about what was truly inside of me. And then you have Superman himself. He could have the power of a god and he could rule the world if he wanted to. He could be an evil dictator, but he lays his life down to serve. And I understand that sometimes in terms of story, it's harder to do one for Superman because you have to come up with a bunch of convoluted stuff to hurt him. He's incredibly overpowered. And yet that's one of the things that I love about him. He's so overpowered, yet so humble and lays his life down to serve. So that's why I think Superman is my absolute favorite superhero. Let's see. Tina Ann, The Mist is a great movie. Fascinating. Bobby says, also, I should say, when I started subscribing, I got brought to your channel from your Smallville reviews. That was my favorite series in middle and high school. Well, that's awesome. That's one of my favorite shows. I'm glad like my Smallville reviews spoke to you like that and you were able to come aboard because of those. Because I put a lot of work into those Smallville reviews. I think I said this in my last live stream. I have a difficult time with the Smallville reviews. And it's because that show's been such a big part of my life. I have so much to say about it. Like I could go to an unhealthily long time talking about one season. So it's hard for me sometimes to boil it down to the meat and potatoes of what am I really trying to say. So I work really hard in pre-production, but also in editing to like boil it down to something good, fun, presentable, relatable, and interesting. And so thank you. I'm so glad because I put a lot of work into those videos and I'm just glad that you really do enjoy them. Let's see here. My old friend. Last night I watched Aliens for the first time in a while. Yes, I know a lot of people say that the movie is better than the first. Personally, I prefer the original because it has a sort horror sci-fi suspense. I totally get what you're saying there. I think it really just depends on your favorite genre movie. I think people who really prefer that horror sci-fi suspense over that horror action because that's more what the sequel is. It's more of an action movie. And I think that appeals more to a broader audience because of that. And that's why a lot of people like that better, but also because it's not a repeat of the first one. So I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards Aliens because it's so unique, a sequel that is just that good. But I get you 100%. When I watched it for the first time, which was only a couple years ago, it was incredibly good. So thank you, Cody Leach, for that. He's the one who got me doing that. So thank you so much. The aliens to me did not have that. Yeah, and I totally get what you're saying. What's up, Dale? So glad to have you here. The brightest night. Do you have any movie recommendations? I have a lot of recommendations. If you haven't watched this show called The Chosen, it's free. And there's this app called The Chosen. If you download it on your phone right now, you could stream it from your phone to your TV. And I think it's an incredible show. Well acted, well written. And then they're in the midst of season 2. In terms of movies, you would have to let me know. I don't know what you've seen or haven't seen, but there's a lot of good movies out there. Like, are you looking for older movies or more recent movies? So you have to let me know what you think about that. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you've never seen Smallville, that could be fun to check out, except for the Lana drama. Do you have a favorite rock band? I have several. I used to work in Christian radio for 14 years, and I got my start in Christian hard rock. I worked for a station that did like the hardcore, heavy metal Christian stuff, like screaming over the music, hip hop, and all of that. So, I mean, some of my favorite bands that came out of that are Thousand Foot Crutch, and Skillet is probably still one of my favorite bands. I miss DC Talk in high school. They were one of my favorites, but they broke up a long, long time ago, but I still list them as one of my absolute favorites. My goodness, who else? I mean, there's Thousand Foot Crutch, there's Skillet, Pillar, um, Family Force 5. I have a lot of favorite rock bands. Having worked in that industry, it's a lot of fun. Gabriel, do Durbin, what do you think about The Prince of Egypt? This is my favorite Christian film. I kind of think this film, for me, being a Christian, I really fell. I'm sorry, I'm reading too fast for my own good. I kind of think this film, for me being a Christian, I really felt the art is very important for God and us. Yeah. I actually did a whole review on that movie. And so if you search Durbania, Prince of Egypt, you'll find my review. I think it's a fantastic movie. So well done, so well written. The animation is terrific. My favorite ever depiction of Moses in the burning bush comes from The Prince of Egypt. They just did such a good job because even when God raises his voice at Moses, when Moses is like, I can't do this, I can't do this, you feel the love and compassion in his voice. I love that it's Val Kilmer doing the voice of Moses and the voice of God, really showing how God is speaking to Moses' spirit. There's a lot of stuff in there that I think is actually very good. Sam, you are hilarious. Favorite Tarantino movie? Kill Bill, volume 1 and 2. That's it. I do not like Tarantino. I am not a fan of Tarantino. If you want to point out a Tarantino film, I'll just say they're just a series of films I don't like. It's not that he's not talented. It just does not speak to me. But if you're asking me for a favorite, all I could say is the Kill Bill volumes. Michael Morrison. Look at that, Baby Yoda. Hey, Durbin, what is your favorite John Wick movie? That is an impossible question. Maybe John Wick 2. Yeah, maybe. No. John Wick 1. No. I don't know. That is hard. It bounces between 1 and 2. I love that original. There's a lot of great stuff in it. There's a lot of fantastic stuff in the sequel. And yeah, even though I probably list the third in last place, I still freaking love the third one. Oh, yeah, no, there's a lot of great action sequences. That's hard. I kind of like the second one just because I like it going a little bit deeper into the world and getting deeper and like seeing hotels all across the world and all that stuff, like their currency and how he shops for weapons and getting his like cool bulletproof suits and stuff. I think that one is probably my favorite. Plus, you got the reunion of Neo and Morpheus. So I'm probably gonna go with the second one. If I really had to think about it. Lana Drama should be on a shirt. You hear that, Laura? Maybe we should create a shirt that says Lana Drama. Maybe a big red, like Ghostbusters red slash through it. No Lana. I don't know. I'm sorry, Kristen Crook. I really am. I know you love Durbania, and I'm sure you're watching this right now. And if you are, you can comment because this is a safe space. I don't like Lana. I really, really don't. Joshua, hey Durbin, it was cool seeing you in the Civil War trivia. Thank you. That was a blast to be a part of. Seeing that many creators in one Zoom call was awesome. Congrats on 7K. Yeah, I did this really cool Zoom call last night with all kinds of great YouTube creators. And the only one on there I had worked with before is Matthew V. Haynes, the Clockmaster. Otherwise, I got to meet a whole bunch of YouTubers I'd never met before. And I had a blast each and every single. So all of you guys, if you happen to be watching, thank you for inviting me to be a part of that. Thank you for letting me have that kind of fun with you. And it was awesome to get to meet you all. So thank you all so much. The brightest night. What will be okay? What I can't read today. What will be you most anticipated movie next year if we get them next year? What will that's hard. I want to say Black Widow because I am anxious to get to the next phase of the MCU, but I'm predicting we're not going to get Wonder Woman on Christmas. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Wonder Woman. Just being a DC, but kind of seeing the trend of things right now, I'm going to assume and just take a guess we are not going to get it on Christmas and we're going to get it somewhere in 2021. And that would probably be my most anticipated because of what a DC I am. Plus Justice League. And I know we're going to get that because that's not coming out on the big screen. So, yeah. Hello, Dale. Do you like Gordon Ramsay? And if so, what's your favorite Gordon Ramsay TV show? Never watched. All right. What is your favorite movie franchise? Mine is Godzilla. That is a fantastic movie franchise. What is my favorite movie franchise? It goes between a lot of different things. I mean, one of the top ones for me all the time is just that original Lord of the Rings trilogy. I love it. I am loving the MCU. I'm surprised because I'm a DC. I grew up DC. There are a few Marvel things I liked here and there, but I was always faithful to Batman and Superman, like period. So I am loving the MCU. I'm loving what they're doing. So all of their movies, the way they've connected that universe, it's definitely one of my absolute favorite franchises. It breaks my heart that DCEU isn't quite up there right now, but Man of Steel is probably one of my absolute favorite Superman movies. Absolutely love it. Batman v Superman, it's got flaws, but you know what? I enjoy it. So Star Wars, yeah, see, look at that. I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt. I would definitely put Star Wars in there, and especially some of the stuff they're doing with it now. I mean, I love the original series. I love the Clone Wars. I'm so loving The Mandalorian so far. And the sequels are just so bipolar for me. But yes, I still love Star Wars. Thank you so much. Have you ever played the Telltale Walking Dead games? I have not. So my question to you, Dale, is should I? And are they going to be on the PS5? Because I don't have a PS5, and at this point, I probably will get one late 2027 when stores will finally let me load it in my cart and get to checkout. But yes, so just let me know. Are you excited for Free Guy? I am excited for Free Guy. I only watched that first initial trailer. I didn't watch the second one that came out because I just figured the movie wasn't going to come out yet. But yes, I am excited for Free Guy. I think that movie looks really good. I have a question. Why do a lot of people expect so much compelling stories? It doesn't matter to me. I can enjoy these movies for what they are. First off, let me just say that is a great talent. And I wish more people could do that. Secondly, I understand your argument and I understand the compelling story argument because when I go to the big screen, I do want what you want. I want to have a blast. I want to escape. I want to let the critical side of my brain go away. But I do love a great, compelling story that could really draw me in and I feel things. Like I like that. And if it's a bad script, I don't really feel sometimes the emotions that I know a scene wants me to feel, but I don't feel it. And that's why I want a compelling story for me personally. When you have a story that is just stinking and you could just tell either a ton was edited out of the movie or they didn't have a lot of time to write it, like for instance, Suicide Squad. I think Suicide Squad wanted me to feel more than I felt. But that movie got chopped up 7 ways till Sunday. They only had a certain amount of time to write it, and I didn't feel what that movie wanted me to feel. There were definitely things about it that were fun, especially Will Smith and Margot Robbie. I mean, it's DC. I'm always able to find something in it I enjoy. But of the DCEU films, it's the one I can't stand the most because it's not that compelling. I can understand where it's fun, but the story isn't drawing me in, especially where I love DC. But man, I want you to keep that attitude. That is a great attitude because I do not like this weird Star Wars division that we have and how movies make people so mad and are so divisive. That is not what movies should be. If you don't like a movie, that's fine. Nobody can convince you to like it. Neither can you convince anyone to not like it. So enjoy it for what it is or not, but have fun either way because that's what a movie is supposed to be. That was my soapbox. Thank you for the opportunity to stand on that soapbox. What is your favorite Marvel superhero? Wow, that's a very good question. I think it goes back and forth between Spider-Man and Captain America. And I like Captain America because he reminds me a lot of Superman and that good heart. Like he's got this power, he's got these abilities. He doesn't have to do what he does, but he lays his life down to serve. And I think Marvel does a great job telling that story. I love Winter Soldier for how you have a dark, gritty spy movie with a fantastic superhero thrown in there who's just this picture of absolute light. Like I love that. So like I haven't read too many Marvel comics, so all I could do is go off the MCU. So I definitely like Captain America. I definitely like his heart. I think he's fantastic. But Spider-Man is just so fun. He's so fun and he's hilarious. And I feel like I could be him. I'm too terrified of spiders. And if I ever got bit by a spider and had those powers, I think I'd be too terrified to look at myself in the mirror. But just saying, in terms of pretend, I think Spider Man is probably up there as one of my favorites. I also like Iron Man. I mean, that guy is always battling the dark and light within. And it's cool to see that battle. And even though he loses some battles, it's cool to see him win that war. Yes, you should. Don't know if they'll be on PS5, but they're way better than the show. Spinoff of the show, but better characters. Okay. All right. I'll have to definitely, because I only have a Nintendo Switch. So I'll definitely have to keep an eye out. Have you seen Ready or Not with Samara Weaving? It's one of my favorites. Ready? Have I seen that, Laura? Ready or Not? That sounds familiar. She doesn't know. Probably not. So thank you. And I will take that as a recommendation. Do you have a story that made you cry a lot? Let's see. Bridge to Terabithia, I refuse to watch again. I saw it with my mom. I can't remember if I was in high school or college when that movie came out. But we thought it was gonna be fantasy. She loves fantasy. I like fantasy. So I remember seeing it with her. And it's embarrassing to cry in front of your mom in a movie. I was sobbing. I couldn't believe it. And I don't do that. Like I'm not the guy that does that in movies, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. I'll just say it made me feel some stuff. Um, I'll harp on The Chosen one more time. A lot of Christian movies and Christian media just isn't good, but something about The Chosen looked interesting, so I checked it out. And I'm telling you, the end of that first episode brought tears to my eyes with Peter and the miracle of the fish. They did such a great buildup that I felt that little lump in my throat, but that was about it. But man, there was this one scene where he heals the paralytic. I don't know why that miracle jumped out to me in my first viewing, but man, I'm telling you, again, I had the tears down my face. They just did a great job with that. So I definitely have had some of those things that have made me cry. Let's see. What is up? What is your favorite movie ever? I'm going to go with Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park movie. And I think the reason being is just because of all my hype about it when I was a kid. I love dinosaurs. I couldn't wait to see it. We got sneak preview tickets as a family, and I was 9. So my sister was, what's 4 minus 9? 5. And she was so scared that we had to leave when the T Rex ate the guy off the toilet. And I had nothing but anticipation to see that movie again. And my dad took me to see it and we had such a blast. And to this day, like that memory sticks with me. Also, that movie changed my life because I had to pee, but I was not going to miss that movie again. I wasn't going to miss one more thing, and I had to pee at the beginning. When we got to the end of that movie, I could barely walk out of that theater. I was in so much pain. So here's how it changed my life. I now dehydrate myself every time I go to a movie. Thanks to Jurassic Park 1993. I am the Game Boy. So good to hear from you, man. Pretty sure it deleted my first comment because it's not in the chat anymore as far as I can see. Oh, that sucks. But I just dropped by to say congrats, buddy. Well, thank you so much. I am the Game Boy. I am the Game Boy is probably one of my earliest subscribers. Just so you all know, like he was like there day one. So thank you so much. I am the Game Boy for stopping by. I greatly appreciate that. Aaron Johnson, Durbin, does the film Crimson Tide have the same issues involving morals as The Rock? The characters in Crimson Tide act so similar to The Rock that honestly it boggles down to I didn't see Crimson Tide. But now you got me convinced that I need to because The Rock is fantastic. That was a really good movie. And now, like, I always had that on my list. I just never got around to it. So thank you for bringing that up because no, I have not seen that. But I would love to make that comparison. So I'm going to have to check that out. Have you watched Superman the animated series? Yes, I haven't seen all of it. I watched it way back when it was first airing, but then I found it on Amazon. It was on Prime for a while. I don't know if it's on Prime right now, but I remember I binged probably the first 3 seasons and I loved it. I haven't finished it yet either because I think it went off Prime. So now I'm kind of just, is it on HBO Max yet? I'm waiting for HBO Max to get all that DC stuff because I love Batman the animated series, and I think they did an equally great job with Superman the animated series. I really enjoy Superman the animated series. I watched Bridge to Terabithia in 5th grade after reading the book in school. Good movie, but I didn't cry. Well, good for you. I had never read the book. I didn't know what was coming, and it hit me hard. Okay, I can't explain it. I can't explain it. Aaron White, since Laura is home, so Laura, I guess this one's for you too.
I'm listening.
Okay, Laura's listening. Since Laura is home, what is one or many things you do that drive her crazy? You got her laughing. That's never a good thing. What do I do that drives you crazy? She's looking at me crazy right now. That drives me crazy.
I don't want to be mean.
Oh, she doesn't want. Okay, give me one semi-nice thing.
You asked me the same question multiple times.
I asked her the same question multiple times. Oh my
And
gosh,
when
she
I
still
ask
got
you
stuff.
For your opinion for food, you just go, I don't care.
And I don't care when she asks for my opinion for food.
That's
Well, you know what? We've eaten everything around here, every restaurant like 700 times. It's all the same. Oh, that was fun. Thank you so much, Aaron, for bringing that up. Okay, what is your favorite TV show? Mine is Friends. Oh, man. Let's see. Okay, so if you want to do sitcoms, I think I like How I Met Your Mother, probably a little bit above Friends. That's a really good one. But definitely, yes. Laura loves Friends. My wife, that's her favorite show. She could probably do a whole video series on that. I don't know why I'm saying that because she never will. But the point is she could because she absolutely loves that show. So let me see. So I said How I Met Your Mother. I love the first 3 seasons of Arrested Development. I pretend the Netflix revival did not exist. I don't like that as much. It's not all bad. I just don't like it as much. It doesn't hold the same. But those first 3 seasons of Arrested Development are probably some of my favorite show. I love Community. That show is hysterical. And even though it kind of season 6 was a weird season, I think it still ended well. So that was a good show, and I did enjoy that. Love Parks and Rec. When I grow up, I want to be Ron Swanson. I got to stop. I have a lot of favorite shows. And of course, Smallville, because I'm doing the Smallville series right now. I have 2 episodes left to watch in season 7. And then tomorrow's going to be my clip gathering day and writing day. And then I'm hoping Thursday and Friday to be my filming and editing days to get season 7 up by Sunday. That is my goal. If it's not up Sunday, it'll hopefully be up Monday. Went on vacation. It kind of throws the schedule off a little bit, but it was worth it. So Smallville is definitely one of my favorite action franchise. Oh man, that's hard. Can I say Speed? Because there is Speed 2, which makes that a franchise. The sequel is total garbage, but I love the first one. So I love the movie Speed. Definitely, I do like Terminator, especially 1 and 2. That's probably more sci-fi horror action, but I absolutely love it. Favorite action franchise. I want to throw John Wick. Why? sometimes my brain jumps over the obvious one. John Wick, 110%. I would say Die Hard, but I don't get into the sequels as much. I like the first one. I've seen the third one, and I think I've seen like the fifth one. I don't know. But yeah, I like enough of Die Hard that I think I can say Die Hard. What else, Laura? What's another good action series? That's not action. That's fantasy. She said Lord of the Rings. I guess Jurassic Park's action. Anyway, yeah, I got I do like a few action franchises. A lot of my favorites are just those 90s action standalone movies like Speed, like The Rock, or any Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Let's see here. Sean, what's up, buddy? Hello, Durbin. Congratulations on over 7,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Awesome, man. What are some stories from scripture that you'd like to see done well on the big screen or in TV series form? I want King David. I think he would be an excellent film trilogy. I mean, do part one where he kills Goliath and, Saul starts chasing him. Part two where Saul's dead and him being the king and his temptation and fall. And then part three where he's running again, but this time from his own son. I think if you took that time to build it out into three, it would be awesome. I think you could have a lot of fun with the life of Daniel. That guy had such a fascinating life, plus his visions of the future and end time prophecies are incredibly interesting. So I think there could be creative ways, especially if you did it in a show, that you could entwine all of that together. So that's definitely something I think I would love to see on the big screen. You know what else I'd love to see on the big screen? The Book of Acts, or at the very least as a TV show. Because everybody does up to where Jesus resurrected and the story ends, but I mean, come on. We're still continuing that story of where the Holy Spirit fell down and the church was born. I would love to see the Book of Acts. I would love to see that turn into an excellent TV series like The Chosen. And so it's not just about Paul and a movie about him, but just to actually see Paul, to see Peter, to see all of them, and to see the power they operated in, like all that stuff. I would absolutely love to see. Favorite Lego video game? I'm probably going to go with, yes, Laura took the words out of my mouth, Indiana Jones. But I had a lot of fun playing the Harry Potter Lego game with my wife. Sometimes I got frustrated in that one, but she kept pressing through. And that was a really fun game, done really well. I do like a lot of the DC ones. The Marvel one was just too big for some reason. There's something about that one that just did not connect with me. The Batman ones are a lot of fun, but I think for me, Indiana Jones, and for my wife, for sure, Harry Potter. Let's see. Are you excited for the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles remake? I don't know. I mean, I like the original. I don't know how I feel about the remake. It's not something that makes me jump out of my chair. So, I mean, I would think, yeah, I mean, if it's straight to Netflix or something. Thoughts on Paranormal Activity franchise? I haven't watched it. And it's funny because it's like, I think like now that I've started my channel, I would be more open to watch it than I was in the past. And the reason is because in the past, I look at it, it's like, what are they playing with? Because I do believe not in ghosts, but demonic activity. It's like that's messing with something that's real and they don't know what they're messing with. But now it's like, now that I've seen a few more things and found these godly messages to pull out of it, I would be curious, but I haven't really seen it. But that's just kind of my honest thinking out loud thoughts about it. What did you have for dinner today? I had 3 homemade tacos. That sounds amazing. I have not had dinner yet because it is California and it's only closing in on 6 p.m. So I got plenty of time to have dinner. Um, let's see, what did I have for lunch? I had like some meat goulash thingy. Had to put a lot of cheese on it to make it good. I yo. Let's see. Let's go find some new comments here, new questions. Do you like Mission Impossible? Very much so. I think that is a very good franchise of movies. I love the high energy, the action. Tom Cruise reminding me of Jackie Chan doing all of his own stunts and seems to be trying to outdo himself with every next movie. So I'm looking forward to, these final 2 that are going to be coming. Sean says, my favorite TV series is The X-Files, a show I recommend for you. It's worth it. Lots of great stories and asks great questions sometimes. You know what? I do want to watch it. I started to watch it probably 3 years ago, and I got halfway through season 1, and I really liked it. But then I think like Christmas interrupted, and then I never went back to it. So do me a favor, Sean. Maybe private message me. Where do, or you can do it here, I don't care. Where do the movies fit in with the show? Because if I'm going to watch it, I'm going to commit and go chronological order. So I want to make sure I watch the first movie where I'm supposed to watch it in line with the show. Same thing with the second movie. There's a second movie. So just make, I want to know that because I am very curious and I do love that type of show. Thoughts on Michael Bay and his movies? I guess I have mixed feelings on them. I mean, if you saw my review for The Rock, I gave that a glowing review. I love The Rock. Can't stand Transformers. Well, the first one's okay. The second one's okay until the ending when Shia LaBeouf like dies temporarily and goes to Transformer heaven. I was like, what is that? But I think my biggest problem is anytime Michael Bay is all about shaking the camera like this, I can't stand that. Anytime I can actually watch the action, I like it. There's a lot of things that he does that I like. I mean, I do like a lot of his slow motion effects and how he uses slow motion in his movies. I love a good action movie. So I like Armageddon. I like other things where like it's just a lot of good, solid action thrown in there. He does do like for some reason I watch his movies and I know it's Michael Bay when the sky's not blue but yellow. I like that's one way I always know. Oh, Michael Bay directed this. But yeah, I mean, I like Michael Bay. I think he give you a lot of fun action. I do not like the shaky cam that he got into with Transformers. Yes, the Book of Acts was somewhat done in AD the Bible. Yeah, I saw that a little bit, and I think they some of the stuff that I saw out of that show didn't entirely grip me. There was a lot of things that I thought were really good in that show, but it didn't entirely grip me. But the few things that I did see were pretty good. Do you think movies based on scripture could break box office records if done right? 110%. I mean, come on, they already have a built-in audience. So you got that. You got people from their churches, or if you go Old Testament churches, and you just have so many people built into this who love these stories. If you do them right, if you build it, they will come. The problem is Christian movies have a bad rep, and I think rightfully so. I think a lot of Christian movies are badly written, they're badly put together. They're incredibly cheap, which I guess you can't blame them for that because, big studios aren't giving them money. And so, they're doing what they can with what they got, but it's just, it comes out subpar. There are so many exceptions to those rules, though. Like Risen is a fantastic Christian movie. And so there are Christian movies that break that for me, that are the exception to that rule. But yeah, if you do it right, I mean, you don't even need the money. I mean, look at The Chosen. They have a good, solid budget, but you can tell they're not rich, but everything looks good. The production quality is incredible. So what you need is just the right talent. Look at Mel Gibson with Passion of the Christ. From what I could tell, that did not have a huge budget, but he knew how to shoot it. He knew what to do with that story and how to tell it in a compelling way. So yes, I think you do it right, you will have churches filling out theaters. You will have other people that are familiar with the stories, like, oh, yeah, that does look interesting, filling out the theaters. You can have Bible based movies break the box office record. But what you got to do is just tell the story. Don't try to preach and sermonize. It's a movie. You're going there to see a movie and be entertained. So that's what I would say to the Christian community. Make good movies, tell the stories. If you want to preach, that's church, that's a pulpit. If you want a movie, then tell the story and tell it in a compelling way, and you could break the box office. The Bible continues. It was disappointing, though. Yeah, I didn't see that one. Let's see. Favorite comic book movie? Superman the movie is always going to be up there. Man of Steel is definitely one of my absolute favorites. I love Endgame. My gosh, I just love that movie. I love how those characters disintegrated in Infinity War and the way that they brought them back. Oh man, what is that? 11 years of buildup and they pulled it off. That's definitely one of my favorite comic book movies. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh my gosh, that is freaking fantastic. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie. Oh, 1990. Yeah, that movie still holds up. AD, the Bible continues, did the Acts story, but they focused too much on the political sides of the times, though, and not spread the gospel. Yes, that's annoying. Why would you do that? Come on. And in the era of superhero movies, you don't focus on the politics. Do you remember the Star Wars prequels? No. You focus on the Force and the Jedi. You focus on the power. So the book of Acts, that's what you focus on, the power of the Holy Spirit moving through the disciples and how that was impacting the world. Let's see. Favorite Christopher Nolan movie? Let's see. I mean, I'm gonna be cliche and just say The Dark Knight because I am that much of a DC fan. Um, Man, Memento was pretty good. I haven't seen that in so long though, so I hardly remember it. But I do remember the first time I watched it, like what was I like early college, on the edge of my seat, trying to figure that movie out. And I think he did a really good job telling that story in a very compelling way. I'm trying to think, what else do I like? Inception was okay. I don't think I loved it like everybody else did, but again, his use of the camera, the way of telling that story inside the dream, the use of the musical score and all that, like I think he does a good job, and I like him telling those good stories. I haven't seen Tenet yet. That's because it came out on the big screen at a time when California was not letting big screens, open up really. And then I was like, and finally they did open a few, and I was like, I'm not driving that far. Okay, let's see. Aaron White, I'm a Californian too. Yeah, bro. Woo! Gene, what is up, Gene? That's my future sister-in-law right there. I love and miss you guys. Also, I've never asked for your thoughts on the Matrix series. Amazing. Especially, the first Matrix. That one is incredible. I don't think I hate the sequels the way other people do, but they're definitely lesser quality than the first one. And there's so many reasons why it would be that, but I think in some ways they got too philosophical, and so they were just trying to talk circles around themselves. The first movie did a lot more showing of the philosophy. Is the world around me real, or is the world around me fake? What does that mean that the world around me is fake? What is the real world like? Oh crap, I'm in the real world. This really sucks. We got to save the first one is just so compelling no matter how many times I watch it. The second two, they're just fun to me. I enjoy them. I think they're fun. I like the ending of the whole trilogy, the third one. So I am curious about the fourth one. Will it be good? I have no idea. But it's Keanu Reeves. It's the Renaissance, whatever they want to call that. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the fourth Matrix, what story is left to tell. But yeah, I love the Matrix series, and the first one is incredible. The Animatrix is weird. I don't hate it, but it's weird. So thank you, Gene. That's my future sister-in-law. Everybody say hi to my future sister-in-law. All right. Thoughts on the trailer for Greenland? It's Armageddon with Gerard Butler. Yeah, I'm down. I don't have too many thoughts because I've only seen that one trailer, but I do love a good action-packed disaster movie. Gerard Butler just fits that to a T, and I am telling you, I am excited for Greenland. So yes, the first X-Files films take place after season 5 and right before season 6. Okay, the second film takes place 6 years 2008 after season 9, which ended the show. Okay, cool. Seasons 10 and 11 were okay, cool. I'm going to copy and paste that comment somewhere so I have that. So that's awesome. Thank you for that because I do want to watch X-Files and I want to watch it right. Could you make a video on the problems with most Christian movies? If you want, that is. Of course, I do want to do that. That's a really good idea. So I might have to do that. I might have to put together some thoughts, go through and find some examples. So it might be a little bit, and especially since we're hitting the holidays. So maybe in 2021, give me some time to put some stuff together because that is a really good idea. I've had that request before. It's funny because it's hard because as a Christian, what do I want to do? I want to support Christian movies, even if they're terrible, because honestly, I want them to be good and I want them to get better. The only way you're going to get better is if you just keep making it. Like you just keep going. You can't stop. You got to keep making stuff. You got to keep getting better. The more you do, the more money you might make. The more money you make, the better writers you can hire, the better actors you can hire, stuff that you could bring on. So I want to support them. And so it's funny because I've wrestled with that. But yeah, that would be a fun video to put together. And I would do it respectfully because really it's just opinions. Okay. Just want to say I love your passion for film and well, thank you so much. And I look forward to the rest of that sentence, but thank you. I'm so glad you enjoy my passion for film. So when are you going to direct a new TMNT? That's my brother-in-law. I'm glad my future sister-in-law and brother-in-law are watching. Hello, guys. They're far away in New Mexico, and I don't think we're allowed to travel there. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. When am I going to direct a new TMNT movie? I don't know. Paramount Pictures. You should hire me, and I will direct a new Ninja Turtles movie. I will write that thing for you. I will write you the best Ninja Turtles trilogy you have ever seen. You just go ahead inbox me and just send me the check. I'll get it done for you. Favorite David Fincher movie? Don't really know off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. Give me a list of your favorite. And then I'll go through there and I'll tell you if I've seen it and which would be my favorite, which wouldn't. Okay. Love you guys. If you could have the Circle series by Ted Decker as a movie, would you rather have it as an animated movie or live action? If I'm going to go movie, I want live action. I want a huge budget poured into that. I want Peter Jackson directing it and bringing his same passion that he brought the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. That would be what I would want. Now, if you were to turn it into a series, I could do anime. It could be a really good anime series, and I would enjoy that. But if we're talking, put that thing out on the big screen, give me high budget Lord of the Rings feel, Peter Jackson, the Circle Saga by Ted Decker. That's how I'd want to see that. And those of you who are watching and you're like, the Circle series by Ted Decker, great books. Just look up Ted Decker and look up the Circle trilogy so you get the initial 3 books first, and then you can find every book that comes after those, which makes it the Circle series. All right, let's see here. The Brightest Night. What are your thoughts on the MCU Hulk? For me, I think they did Hulk dirty. Now, when you say they did Hulk dirty, are you talking about Professor Hulk at the end? My thoughts as a whole, I like Edward Norton a lot. The Incredible Hulk, I thought was really good. I enjoyed that movie. It's not the best, but I think it was fun. I really liked it. Oh my gosh, why is his name escaping? Mark Ruffalo. My gosh, I love Mark Ruffalo. And I think he fits the MCU, and I think he fits the cast in the Avengers. I'm one of those who did like Professor Hulk. I don't dislike it. I thought it was kind of interesting. I think it would have been cool to actually see his transformation into Professor Hulk, but that shock value of Ant-Man sitting there in that diner like, I'm confused. I was experiencing that with him. And you know what? I wouldn't trade that moment for anything. But maybe a flashback where we saw the research that he did and how he put the brains and the bronze together. I think maybe it would have smoothed that over. At the same time, I think the movie was pretty long, and that's probably why they didn't throw that in there. But I didn't think it was the worst. I would like them to continue it, though, and see where they take it. Will Professor Hulk go away? I mean, will we get a red Hulk, a blue Hulk, like the different colors that they had? So like that'd be something that I would like to see, something I would like to know. What comic book movies you like that got overly disliked? Mine are Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2, and Dark Phoenix. Um, oh gosh, X-Men Apocalypse. I like that one, and a lot of people hate it, but I like it. I don't think it's the best, but I think it's better than people give it credit for. I think if people could just relax and watch it, they'd probably, well, even if they still disliked it, like they could probably at least admit it's fun. I mean, it is. I think it's kind of a fun movie. So I enjoyed X-Men Apocalypse. I'm going to agree with you on Amazing Spider-Man 2. I recognize the flaws and problems with the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it's sad because it falls into the same trap of Spider-Man 3 without the interesting redemption arc of Peter Parker having to forgive his enemy. That was incredible. I hate Spider-Man 3, but I love that plot where Peter Parker has to forgive the man who killed his Uncle Ben. That was so awesome, and that was so well done. So, like Spider-Man 2, though, I really like the idea of Peter Parker's parents, like the part they played in his origin and how his dad created the spiders with his DNA so they could really only impact Peter Parker properly because he shares his dad's DNA. And I was so curious. I wanted Amazing Spider-Man 3 because I want to know where that was going. So there's a lot of stuff about Amazing Spider-Man 2 I don't like, but I do like it. It's really good. Ah, my good friend Jeremy, congratulations. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Really appreciate that. What's your most unpopular opinions? I would probably say one of my most unpopular opinions is I really don't like Pulp Fiction and I don't get it. Like, I don't get what's so special about it at all. And that's how I feel about most Tarantino films. And that's how I feel about all of Tarantino dialogue. Like, it just, people talk about it like it's genius. And I just listen and I go, no, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Anytime Tarantino releases a movie, I'm last in line. In fact, I'm not even in line. That would probably be my most unpopular opinion. Laura, is there any other unpopular opinions I hold? Not off the top of her head. Uh, that would be it. And if you love Tarantino, I'm not trying to insult that. I'm not saying he's talentless. He is talented and he does have, a great way of putting a movie together, but it just doesn't speak to me and it's not something that I like even a little bit. Favorite horror movie? Mine is Scream. Gosh, what is my favorite horror movie? The Mist is definitely one of my favorite horror movies for sure. I think that one was put together really well. I like the 1980s Pet Cemetery. I think that's a really, really good movie. I had fun watching that. You know what? One day, one day, if copyrights ever don't become an issue, I would love to film my wife and I watching a horror movie because her reactions are not natural. She is hysterical, laughing out loud at some of the stuff people should be horrified over. And I don't know if I should be concerned or not, but her reactions are absolutely hysterical. And so often when Cody Leach recommends a horror movie to me, I would film little reactions and send them to Cody because it's freaking hysterical and he gets a kick out of it. So I got to figure out how to do that for y'all because watching Laura watch a horror film is probably one of the funniest things ever. Anyway, gosh, favorite horror film. I love In the Mouth of Madness. I thought that movie was incredibly interesting. That was a really good horror film. I really enjoyed that. Very cool that Cody Leach let me come in and do that. What else? What else? I think that's about it. Um, yeah, The Mist, Pet Cemetery, and In the Mouth of Madness would probably pop to my mind as like the top three. My favorite Fincham film is Seven. Fight Club is another great one. Yeah, Fight Club is good. I'm not in love with Fight Club. I liked it. I feel like I've seen parts of Seven. I know I haven't seen that all the way through. Isn't The Apple the greatest Christian film ever? To those of you who don't get this, this is an inside joke. On my channel, just search The Apple. I had a patron request to watch this horrible, horrible old musical movie called The Apple. And Cody Leach joined me on that one. And the best part of it is just our reactions going back and forth. Like, we couldn't even figure out how to properly prepare and pre-production. The movie was so unbelievably bad. Greatest Christian film ever. Oh man, you are hysterical, Dale. Okay, let's see here. The Snyder Cut is my number one release of next year. I watch the trailer every day, many times. Have you noticed the trailer vanished on some channels? It's vanished all over the place because of the Hallelujah song that was on there. So he took it down, and the rumor is we're getting a new trailer tomorrow. And if that rumor is true, we're getting a new trailer tomorrow. You can be looking for my reaction to that trailer. If there is no new trailer, then I apologize for, spreading false hope. But yes, I used to watch that a lot. I would watch the Batman trailer and then I would watch, the Snyder Cut Justice League trailer because it's awesome. Let's see here. Are you enjoying Mandalorian so far? Yes, I very much so am enjoying Mandalorian so far. And Ahsoka, can I say it? Okay, spoilers. So just mute this if you haven't seen the latest episode, and then I'll wave when you can unmute. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Ahsoka, they said her by name. Is she gonna be in the next episode? I don't know, but man, I cannot wait to. God, I'm so excited. Okay, is the volume back up? Are you ready? Here we go. We're going to continue onward. I love Mandalorian. That show has done no wrong in my eyes. Durbin, what's your thoughts on the Rambo franchise? The first 3 Rambos have the tantrum. Tantrum with Richard Crenna, while Rambo 4 and 5 do not. For me, this franchise deserves moral commentary. Yeah, I've done reviews on all of them. I haven't done a theological analysis on them. I like the Rambo movies. The first one was okay. I think if I remember correctly, I liked the second one better. Third one was meh. I really liked the fourth one. The fifth one was like, okay, whatever. I heard the director's cut of the fifth one though is great. Have you seen the director's cut? I haven't seen the director's cut, but it's on is it still on Prime? If it's still on Prime, I'll probably check it out sometime here in the near future. Let's see here. What is your favorite Chronicles of Narnia book? My personal favorite is The Horse and His Boy. It's the most unique and different. Which book do you want to see put to film TV series? Well, first off, I want them all. And I hope Netflix, because they got the rights, does it justice and keeps the Christianity in it and stays true to the heart of C.S. Lewis and what he wrote instead of trying to, fill it with all kinds of modern day stuff. Don't do that. Just keep it classic. Keep it what C.S. Lewis wrote. What makes the book so good is the Christian message, is that Aslan is Jesus. Do not change one darn thing. Netflix. Do you hear me now? Okay. Now, my favorite book is probably The Magician's Nephew. Love it. That book is fantastic. The beginning and the creation of Narnia, just Aslan singing Narnia into existence, and how each note created something different. And I know we read the Bible and it says God spoke and the things came into existence, and yet I can't help but think, what if there was a little bit of song in what he spoke? It just makes so much sense and it's so beautiful and it fits his character. Just the different notes bringing different things into existence, into creation. I love it. My second favorite is The Last Battle. And I think those are there like that because my two favorite things to study in the Bible are the beginning of time and the end of time because they're so mysterious. And so I think C.S. Lewis did a good job capturing the mysteriousness of both and giving you hope in both. Beyond that, I love Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I really do like The Horse and His Boy. For the longest time, it was my least favorite and I didn't want to read it. The last time I read it, to review it for my channel, I was able to get so much deeper into it and just found so much more that I appreciated than ever before. So yeah, that's a really, really good one. Literature and God. It makes me happy to see someone's enjoyment talking about these things and being entertaining while talking about it. You deserve all 7,000K. My first comment got caught off. You know what? That happens to the best of us. But thank you for finishing that because, yeah, no, I love watching movies and finding God in movies. And I love reading good literature. So, yeah, it's always a lot of fun. And it's fun to find ways to talk about it. Sometimes book reviews are just harder because with movies, you have so much more you can commentate on. And with books, it's hard because you're missing the whole visual medium. But man, I've had a lot of fun going into the C.S. Lewis books. Just recently finished reviewing the complete Space Trilogy. Put my review for That Hideous Strength, which is a surprisingly relevant book written in the 40s. And its relevancy to our time is not just shocking, it's a little bit frightening. So if you haven't read the Space Trilogy, they're definitely slower paced in his fiction than some of his other books, but they're very interesting. And I think That Hideous Strength, the final book, picks that up. And again, it's scary how relevant it is to our time. I think I might have asked your last Q&A, but could you do a theological review on The Princess Bride? Actually, I think I do remember you doing that. So thank you for reminding me because I love The Princess Bride. And that would be a great one for a theological review. I will probably jump on that when I get done with Smallville because I'm doing all those theological reviews of Smallville right now, and those take a lot of time, but they're a lot of fun. It's a labor of love. So when I get done with that, that is a really good idea, and I may do just that. So thank you. What do you think about the Ready Player One movie? So I haven't read the book, so I could just honestly say I really enjoyed the movie for what it was. It's not my favorite movie. I don't think it's like a classic or anything, but it was a lot of fun to see like Ninja Turtles and Batman characters and other things all thrown into this movie. Like I loved its pop culture references. It's going to be beyond dated in about a decade. Nonetheless, for our decade, it was a pretty fun movie. A lot of my friends though who read the book and saw the movie felt very differently. What are your thoughts on Netflix's A Series of Unfortunate Events? Well done. Way better than the Jim Carrey movie. It was great. I love the Netflix A Series of Unfortunate Events. And I feel like what Netflix did is it definitely changed elements from the books to the episodes, but it didn't change the soul of the show, like the soul of the books. What I watched and what I remember reading, the soul completely matched. It was the same feeling I got when I read. And the whole cast was absolutely brilliant. So like they just did a great job with that show beginning to end. I loved it. And that's why I got hope for Narnia, because if they treat Narnia with the same respect they treated A Series of Unfortunate Events, we're going to get a great Narnia. Did you like Scott Pilgrim versus the World? It was okay. Yeah. I saw it once and I saw it. How many years ago was that now? It was just one of those movies I just randomly saw it on streaming. I was like, all right, yeah, I'll check that out. So it's pretty recent, but not super recent. But I did enjoy it. I think that movie's a lot of fun and it's a really cool cast. And it's really fun to see that cast, especially now that, Chris Evans as Captain America and see like what this cast has become now. So it's fun to go back and watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That movie was pretty cool. What did you think of that movie, Dale? Favorite adult animated series for me: Attack on Titan and One Punch Man. Favorite adult animated. Let me think. Let me think. I almost said Batman the animated series, but I don't think that's super adult. I just watched Blood of Zeus on Netflix. That was good. I wouldn't say that was my favorite though. It was good. I liked Castlevania until after season 2. And then it just felt like all it was trying to do was just be about gross stuff. And I was like, no, gosh, just ugh. But like season 1 of Castlevania was very interesting. I have a review on that up, and I would recommend checking that out. Dale, I don't know if you knew this, but the director's cut of Rambo Last Blood is only on Amazon Prime from what I heard. Oh, good. I didn't know if it was still there or not. So, yeah, that's good to know that it's still there. So I'll have to check that out. What are your thoughts on Noah and Exodus? Terrible movies. It feels like people who were mad at God and were throwing a temper tantrum towards God put those movies together. That's what it feels like. Noah started good and started very interesting. I liked the concept of the atmosphere of the earth being different, that broad daylight, they'd look up at the sky and you could still see the stars and the constellations, because to me that indicated the atmosphere is different. I like some of the fantasy type animals that were around. Like that was kind of cool because it's a different time. Animals that are probably way extinct and stuff like that was interesting. They did the Nephilim wrong, the rock monsters. They obviously didn't understand Genesis chapter 6 when it talked about the Nephilim. But yeah, they definitely messed that up, and it could have been more interesting if they followed what the Bible had to say about the Nephilim versus them going into these weird rock monsters. But you know what? I could give that a little leeway. Where it really loses it for me is once the ark is built, because when Noah's like son's girl gets killed and trampled, and Noah could have saved the girl, but he didn't. Like that made me mad. Then when Noah goes all psychopath and goes, well, God wants me to kill everybody. Like the fact that he had to turn into Psycho Noah was stupid. The fact that him being Psycho Noah was just a test from God, and there was a reason God put Noah on there because Noah wouldn't do that. It's like that whole plot was dumb. It was dumb as snot. So really, like just the very beginning was interesting, and then the rest got beyond stupid. And Exodus was horrible. It was horrible. Why on earth could they not do the burning bush as a burning bush? Why was it that it was an avalanche and a rock hit him on the head and God's an angry child? He's an angry child stamping his foot whenever he doesn't get his way. No, they will all bow before me. It's like, that's why I sit there and think it's people who are mad at God who made those movies, portraying God as like this angry kid. Oh, it's stupid. It's stupid. I think they're dumb and they missed the point. They didn't understand what they were making. I think they thought they were doing a hot take and something unique. And yet all they really did was fail to miss the power of what the Bible was saying, because all they wanted to push was their own feelings and thoughts is what it felt. So no, I don't. If you like them, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get that passionate, but yeah, not a fan. Okay. Don't know if you've seen these, like The Brightest Nights. Ask LOL. No, oh, really hurt my spirit, and it's horrible all that was done in that movie. Exodus isn't nearly as maddening to me. Exodus was more maddening to me, but I would say both those movies hurt my spirit. I did not like either one. Thoughts on C.S. Lewis cinematic universe? I've been going deeper into the space trilogy after your review. By the way, figurehead behind the NI. Yes. The NICE, the figurehead, is literally a head. The C.S. Lewis universe is a very interesting universe, and I love it because it's interesting. Because when Lewis wrote Narnia, he didn't really mean for them to be allegories. They certainly are allegories, but that's not their intent. The intent is that Narnia is a different universe, not just a different planet, but a different universe. Like, what we saw in Crisis on Infinite Earths, all those different universes. Literally, Narnia is another universe. God created that universe and it fell. So how would he redeem that universe? And still bringing in the sons and daughters of Adam and Eve from our universe into their universe, it's so interesting. And because it's a different universe, you can have the whole C.S. Lewis multiverse, because the space trilogy is inside of our universe. It's just about planets in our very solar system. And so if you've never read the space trilogy, read it. because it's all about planetary angels that are archangels that guard over these planets. Our planetary angel was Lucifer, who has fallen, and now he's in prison in our world so that he won't go out and infect the rest of the worlds. It's such an interesting and fascinating read. The figurehead, what he's saying there with the NICE, it's this whole plot line and that hideous strength, where that literally this guy was guillotined. And these scientists thinking they're genius, they brought the head back to life, and therefore they conquered death. And this head becomes their figurehead, the poster child that man has become God and man has conquered death. But really, it's something else far sinister that they can't even begin to comprehend. And they thought these spiritual forces behind the head were helping them and giving them ideas and wisdom, but really they were manipulating. I can't go any further. You got to read the books. They're incredibly fascinating. I love if we got a C.S. Lewis cinematic universe, man, I would be over the moon, especially if it was done faithfully. That would be the best. You ever seen this movie, The Breakfast Club? Yes. I haven't seen it in ages. I don't have too much to comment on it because it has been so long since I've seen it, but I have seen it. It is enjoyable. Who is One Punch Man's villain? Two Kick, Two Girl, LL. I have no idea. How many dates or months did it take for you to know Laura was the one? And how long have you been married? I just celebrated 11 years. We just celebrated 12 years. Um, it didn't take me very long. And I know everybody's different, so you can't look at me as the pattern, but for me, I just somehow knew. And it went against every rule that I had set up for myself, because before I met Laura, I set up these rules. I had to know a girl for a year before I can ask her to marry me. I bought her ring 4 months in. I didn't propose 4 months in because her dad was like a Vietnam vet, military Catholic guy. He is scary. So I was like, I don't know what they're going to think if I propose 4 months in. And about 6 months in, he asked me, why haven't you proposed yet? I went, well, crap. So I asked for her hand in marriage. The ring I already had. I proposed on our 8-month anniversary. And I met my wife on eHarmony. And so on our honeymoon, we celebrated 1 year of knowing each other. Now, everybody's different, like I said, but something in my spirit and in her spirit clicked. Like it was a very God thing. It was a very God story of how we found each other. And I just knew God was in it. So it's like Smallville. Like Lois and Clark didn't work. Lois and Clark. Lana and Clark didn't work. Every time they're together, the weight of the world was on his shoulders. It was awkward. It was annoying. But Lois and Clark was just natural. They joked together. They laughed together, and they were best friends. And honestly, that's what it was with me and Laura. And that's how I knew. Like we were just the best of friends, and it was good to be around each other, even in times where maybe we were irritated with each other. It didn't matter. We still had a blast together. So yeah. So happy anniversary, Aaron. Celebrating 11 years. My wife and I just hit 12. Have you ever watched shows like Murray, Steve Wilkos, Jerry Springer, etc.? I have watched Maury, not Steve Wilkos, and I have seen Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer's weird. Didn't really get into it. One time, though, when I was in college, my friend and I were really bored. So we just drove to New York. From Ohio to New York. We were just bored. And, I had family in Connecticut. So, we stayed with them and then took the train into New York and ended up at a live taping of the Maury show. It was cool, but it turned out to be a double taping day. And we were so bored, we snuck out at the lunch break. Let's see. What would you think of an Almogram cinematic universe where Marvel and DC characters were combined? Give it to me. That's all I got to say. Yes, I want that. I want that like yesterday. Let's do that right now. What are your thoughts on the Scorsese Christian film Silence? I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't seen it. I am curious to see it. I forget why I didn't see it. First, I had a lot of stuff going on. I love more the action, adventure, sci-fi stuff. So I probably definitely chose some of those movies over Silence. But that's definitely one that is on my list. And every time I see, I'm like, oh yeah, that's one I should check out. So thank you for letting me know. And remind me of that later too, because that's something I'd like to check out. We can compare notes. Let's see. Let's move on over here. Thoughts on Mother. Did not see it and had no desire. My good friend Seth Draven. How you doing? I just binged both seasons of The Boys and thought it was amazing. What do you want to see in season 3, or where do you think it'll go? I don't know where I think it'll go, because it's one of those shows. It's like I don't know where that could go. Wow. I don't know. Man, that's a good question, Seth. I don't find it amazing. I think it's good. I think it's well written. Our lead character, I forget his name. I don't like him. I don't like our lead character. Starlight is cool. I like her. And I guess what I'd really like is to see her defeat the Seven. That's what I'd like. I'd love to see her take on the Seven. A few heroes join her side and for her to just tear that whole thing down. And Moff Gideon, being our bad guy in this show too, I definitely want to see more of him. I want to see that guy rise up as like the Lex Luthor figure in season 3. I really just want to see Starlight be the superhero we know she can be. I want to see her rise above the slime, and I'd love to see her take it on because, man, that would be awesome. So yeah, those are my honest thoughts on that. So let's see here. There's a town in the X-Files and a black and white episode that is obsessed with Jerry Springer. It's hilarious. Okay, well then, I guess I'll have to check that out. That's kind of cool. Oh man, a black and white town. Okay, I need to watch the X-Files. For some reason, that just gets me curious. Where are they going to find a black and white town and get in there where it's obsessed with Jerry Springer? I am curious. Let's see. Have you ever considered doing a reveal of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? The only reason I haven't is I got 2 seasons into it and I was done. It just got tedious for me. I didn't like it. I was watching it in case the movies ever incorporated it. And as I saw that the movies weren't incorporating the show, I just went, I'm done. I don't want to watch this anymore. It just got too tedious for me. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. Have you ever oh gosh, wrong button. Sorry, guys. Did you ever watch Lost Boys? I did. It's great. That is a great vampire movie from the 80s. So I definitely recognize that. Thoughts on Game of Thrones? Let's see. Have you ever wait? There it is. I don't know what's going on. I think it's like updating with new comments, like right as I'm clicking on another comment. I don't know. Thoughts on Game of Thrones? I feel like seasons 1, 2, and 3 are just filthy. And then they decided to pull back on that filth and it got better. And but always, even then, the story was interesting. I just couldn't stand the filth. But then it got better and I liked it, especially when the dragons are coming into play. There's so many interesting things. And then it started to get really, really good. And then the last season ruined everything. And it's not even worth, like, if you've never seen Game of Thrones, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to go back, watch that show, wade through the filth to get to the nothing ending that it is. But until we got to that ending, like some of the latter seasons were good until then, but it just kind of ruined everything. Let's see here. Have you ever watched Haven? It's based on the Stephen King book. No. But thank you for letting me know about that because I like things based on Stephen King books. So that is a good idea. Wow, guys, an hour and a half just flew by. All right. So let me do, oh my gosh, and 19 people watching right now. So I got a good number of people. All right. Those of you watching, 19, 5 more questions. So let's do 5 more questions starting right now. And while I wait to see as they come in here, I just want to say thank you again so much for watching. Thank you for joining me on this live stream. And thank you for just being a part of Durbania. I just really enjoy doing this for you all. It's so fun to hang out with you and talk with you. It's great to have these moments where we can be live and do this. So thank you so much. All right. Who do you like more, Will Ferrell or Mark Wahlberg? Probably Mark Wahlberg. A lot of Will Ferrell movies are hilarious for 10 minutes, and then they put that 10 minutes on repeat the rest of the movie, except for the other guys with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. I think that movie is hysterical. Okay, that's question number 1. Here is question number 2. Why do you not like the Sam Raimi films? They all show up really low on your list. Why? This is a very good question. I was in high school when the first one came out, and I was the only one of my friends that didn't like it. And I think the reason that I didn't like it is I just felt like the dialogue was so unbelievably cheesy. I liked the character and I liked the action. Was not a fan of the weird Green Goblin suit, and especially when, like, for instance, when he knocks out Spider-Man and then Spider-Man can't move and they're on the roof and talking, like the way he just talks and the motions and all that stuff. Like at that point, I like had outgrown Power Rangers and I was too good for them, and it felt very Power Rangery to me, just very cheesy. And so to me, that was just the feel of the movie, and so I didn't like that one. Spider-Man 2, I like. I really like Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi one. So I don't have too much anything negative to say about that one. I think that's a very good movie. Spider-Man 3 is a mess. It's a mess. The only thing I like about it is Peter learning to forgive Sandman. And I wish that they just focused on Sandman then, because that itself was a powerful story. And if that was the whole movie, it would have redeemed it for me. But they ruined Venom and Eddie Brock, and the black suit was cool, but again, it just needed to be a movie about Peter Parker and Eddie Brock, and it needed to be a movie about the black suit ruining Spider-Man's character and Eddie Brock on that, and then all of a sudden the suit comes over to Eddie Brock and we get a real Venom. Like that would have been more interesting, but the movie didn't do that. It's like anyway, that's why like I don't connect very well to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man series. Like I want to because I like Spider-Man. So don't hear me wrong. Like I want to dislike those movies, but that's just where I was when I watched them then. And I still can't seem to shake a lot of those feelings when I watch it now. But I will always say Spider-Man 2 is good. The Shining or Doctor Sleep. Probably The Shining, just because it's just that much more classic. But I hesitate because the Doctor Sleep is so close to me. It's just so interesting getting deeper into that gift, The Shining, getting deeper into like these people that have lived for hundreds of thousands of years and them being like the vampires of The Shining and getting more into that gift was interesting. So yeah, it's hard because I do like both. Okay, what am I on? 3. What do you remember from the first season of X-Files that you enjoyed? Oh gosh, let me think. I'm trying to remember how many episodes I got in. I probably got like 7 or 8 in, so that's pretty good. What did I like that I remember? I can't remember. I just remember the girl drove me nuts because she just happened to never be in the room when something extraterrestrial happened. Much like in Smallville, the only way you know Clark's going to save the day is when somebody gets knocked unconscious. Oh, let's see here. What is your favorite biblical movie? My favorite biblical movie would probably be Ben-Hur. It's long and it's slow, but not the new one. The new one's bad. But I like that. It's a story well told, and I think they did a pretty darn good job with that. Following in a close second, I do love Passion of the Christ. It's incredibly hard to watch, but it's very good story. Behind that, Risen. The Chosen's a TV series, not a movie, but it's fantastic, and everybody should download it because it's free. Hope you review Noah and Exodus. I actually did a video on Exodus, so you can search that. I haven't done one on Noah, but you know what? I probably could do something with those movies, so that is a good idea. So let me think about that. Let me think about what I could do. Let's see. Are you interested in the prequel series to Game of Thrones? Not even a little. Uh, do you have any interest in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield returning to the MCU for a multiverse film? Yes. And I know that sounds odd, seeing as I only like Spider-Man 2 of the Raimi series, but it's not odd to me. I mean, it's just awesome to see all that come together. So it's not just a reboot erasing things that have come before. It happened. It's in another universe. And I think that's a very cool idea. Plus, like I said, I wanted an Amazing Spider-Man 3. I wanted to see where that would go. I think that's a great opportunity to see where you could go with that. So yeah, honestly, all 3 of the Spider-Man films are pretty much my top 15 favorite films of all time. That's awesome. What Christmas movies do you enjoy? Well, anything The Last Christmas Carol. I like many versions of The Last Christmas Carol. I do love Home Alone. That is a great Christmas movie. A Christmas Story. I love that. Ralphie and the Red Ryder BB gun. I mean, I don't know. I feels more like Christmas to me when that's on TNT 24/7 on repeat from Christmas Eve throughout all Christmas Day. So those are there. Let's see. Favorite comic book film. It's going to be one of the Supermans. I'd probably say Superman the movie and Man of Steel. Best zombie movie. Probably Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Mostly because it's hilarious watching that movie with my wife. All right. Looks like I got. Is that a question? It's not a question, but let's take the comment. Ben-Hur 1959 is my favorite too. I absolutely love it. Not the remake. What remake? What are you talking about? Yes. Exactly. What remake? There's no Ben-Hur remake. Oh, that's a terrible movie. Okay, let's see here. Um, favorite horror film. I already answered that a little bit earlier, but I'll go ahead and do it again real quick. In the top three, I'd put The Mist. Then I would put the 1980s Pet Cemetery, and then In the Mouth of Madness. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say right there, that is the final question. I want to say thank you again to all of you that joined me. An hour and 34 minutes, and I had a good number of you here the entire time. Gosh, that makes me happy. And it also makes me happy when an hour and 34 minutes goes by like that. Thank you all so much for joining me for this live Q&A. You all asked such fantastic questions. So thank you so much for being a part of it. I really appreciate that. Those of you watching this on the replay, I hope you're asking questions in the comments, and I'm going to be doing my best to answer all of that. So thank you so much, and I look forward to doing another live Q&A sometime soon, another live theological review sometime soon. I'm going to be working on Smallville Season 7 this week, so that review is coming to you ASAP, and I'm excited to bring that to you because Season 7 is a fascinating season. And Brian Lomax and I have been talking about when we're going to do our top 5 and bottom 5 episodes for Season 3 on his channel, and our top 5 and bottom 5 episodes for Season 4 of Smallville on my channel. So you can know that's definitely coming in the future. Lots of stuff to look forward to. Thank you so much, Dale, for watching, and thank you for being awesome, my friend. I really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you all so much for subscribing. I'm so grateful to have such a great community like you. You make this fun, and I have a blast doing this for all of you. So thank you all so much. Hit that subscribe button to become a Durbanian if you haven't already, and hit that bell by that subscribe button so you're notified for all that stuff coming up here. I'm Durbin. Thank you so much for checking out Durbania.